everybody, welcome to spring episode of Frontend News.
Hello guys, my name is Bartosz and here is Olga.
Hi.
Today we prepared 6 news from you from the frontend world. We are happy to let you know about the latest changes, updates and improvements as always.
First topic for today is Typescript 5.0.
The next news for today is Playwright version 1.32.
Then we will speak about Webkit features in Safari 16.4.
Next we will talk about Mongoose 7.
And then we will speak about new CSS trigonometry functions.
And at the end we're gonna speak about Visual Studio Code release version 1.77. But first, let's watch the intro.
Do you feel spring already?
Not
In
really.
your veins? I hear your ill voice.
No, I don't really. I'm feeling more like, in the middle of the winter on somewhere. It's cold outside and
No, but it is classic spring.
Weather it's sunny, it's really cold, and we are waiting
like today, but it is at least sunny.
Yeah, exactly. But the good days are coming.
Yeah,
So,
I hope so. I like the optimism.
Yeah, always.
Okay. So what about our first news for today?
The first news from our today's list is the latest version of Typescript 5.0. It comes up with plenty of new features, which brings Typescript faster and simpler. So we have new decorators standards, added functionality to better support ESM projects in Node and bundlers, provided new ways for library authors to control generic inference, expanded JS-doc functionality, speed, memory and package size optimizations, case-insensitive imports, sorting in editors, and less complicated configurations. There are many other improvements, but we're gonna get you now a quick overview over the most important ones. The first difference since the beta version of Typescript is that now Typescript allows decorators to be placed before or after export and export default. This is more cosmetic change, which reflected a lot of discussions and consensus about the standards body for ECMAScript, JavaScript. Another change is the new bundler module resolution option, which we can now only use when the module option is set to ESNext. This is about ensuring that import statements written in input files won't be transformed to required calls before the bundler resolves then whether or not the bundler or loader respects TypeScript module options. What is more about the TypeScript 5.0 is that now it specifies the minimum version of Node.js. It's 12.20 in the package JSON. So you can read more about that in the post about TypeScript 5.0 migration to modules, which we provided in the video description. You can also read about the whole migration to modules there. Speaking about changing standards, TypeScript team managed to adjust numbers of speed benchmarks and package size deltas, which has been a core factor across the runs. The names of some benchmarks were also optimized for clarity, and package size improvements have been moved into separate chart. Last but not least, regarding TypeScript, worth mention changes, we have to tell you about decorators, which are upcoming ECMAScript feature. This allows you to customize classes and their members in a reusable way. Decorators can be used on more than just methods. They can be used on properties, fields, getters, setters and auto accessors. Even classes themselves can be decorated for things like subclassing and registration. If you would like to read more about the latest version of TypeScript changes and improvements, please visit the link attached to our video description.
The next news for today, which we prepared for you, is Playwright release version 1.32. For those who haven't got a chance to try it, Playwright is a framework for web testing and automation, which allows testing Chromium, Firefox and Webkit using simple API. It was built to enable cross-browser web automation to be reliable and fast. What comes up with the latest release? The most important thing is the new UI mode, which enables exploring, running and debug tests. It comes with the built-in watch mode. What is more, we have also new options, update mode and update content added. Chaining existing locators object, which you can check in the locator docs for details. All of the changes are available for Chromium version 112 12, Firefox 111 and Webkit 16.4. Please feel free to check into the Playwright and see all of the changes regarding the latest release by following the link attached to the video.
The first news which we're gonna talk about now is the Webkit features in the latest version of Safari, version 16.4. It consists 135 new web features and over 280 updates. We're gonna give you a quick overview on the most interesting ones. The first one, web push on iOS and iPadOS. iOS and iPadOS 16.4 adds support for web push to web apps added to the home screen. Web push makes it possible for web developers to send push notifications to their users through the use of Push API, Notifications API, and Service Workers. They show on the lock screen in Notifications Center and on a paired Apple Watch. The next one is the improvements for web apps. WebKit on iOS and iPadOS 16.4 adds support for the badging API. It allows web app developers to display an app badge count just like any other app on iOS or iPadOS. Permission for a home screen web app to use the badging API is automatically granted when a user gives permissions for notifications. The third thing is Web Components is a suite of technologies that together makes possible to create reusable custom HTML elements with encapsulated functionality. Safari version 16.4 improves support for web components with several powerful new capabilities. To check the full list of the new WebKit features and updates for Safari, please feel free to follow the link attached in the video description.
In other news from the world of development which we prepared for you today is the latest release of Mongoose, which comes with version 7. The most significant backward-breaking changes are dropping support for callbacks and upgrading to MongoDB Node.js driver 5, but there are a few smaller changes that are worth highlighting. First thing, no more callbacks. When Mongoose was first released in 2010, callbacks were the preferred concurrency primitive in Node.js. One async await feature that we have particularly excited about for Mongoose is async stack traces. Without async stack traces, Node's event loop means that stack traces often contains just Node and MongoDB internals with no reference to the point in your code that caused the error. As Mongoose 7 evolves, you should see better and better stack traces. In Mongoose 7, strict query is false by default, exactly as it was in Mongoose 5. With strict query equals false, Mongoose will not strip out unknown fields from the query filter. So test mode will find other prop test will find all documents where other props is equal to tests. Mongoose 7 now copies schema options when you add a schema or define a schema using an array of schemas.
So the 5th point from our list today is that trigonometry functions shows up in CSS. If you're using the latest version of Firefox and Safari, it is possible to use the new CSS trigonometry functions now. So we have now sinus, cosinus, tangents functions available in the CSS. Having this sort of mathematical power in CSS opens up a whole bunch of possibilities. You can read an article about that which we attached in the description below. Please feel free to check it.
And the last one is Visual Studio Code version 1.77. Version 77 comes up with plenty of new features, such as accessibility improvements, new keyboard shortcuts for hovers, notification and sticky scroll. Then we have copy GitHub deep links. You can now create permalinks and add links from within the editor. Notebook format on safe. You can automatically format notebook cells on safe. TypeScript and JavaScript switch case completions. Quickly fill in TypeScript and JavaScript switch statements. Then we have ability to move Python symbols to an existing or new file. Also, we can reuse existing tunnel and quickly transition from remote to desktop, learn about Ruby language support for VS Code. We also have preview and expanded GitHub compilates integrations and that's it. We could tell a lot more about TypeScript, but you can check the full list of the features coming up in the version 1.77 and you can check the link in the description.
And that's all for today.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. You can also check other videos on our channel and can also check our blog on frontendhouse.com and see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.